Oh,
What is
hey!
that? Jen, what is that?
Hello.
What is that? That's
Well, I mean, it's just don't worry. It's just my cushion.
I
It's just
wasn't
my
sure.
cushion.
Had to
I,
check.
I haven't had a skin condition or anything like that. How are you guys? Good?
Yeah, I'm okay. Like, can you see this? Hello, viewers, by the way. Hi.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Can you see that?
Oh
What's
yeah.
that?
Oh my
You
god.
see that
What's
green
that?
thing? You see that green
is that?
thing there? So this is a photo.
That spot.
Yeah, this is a photo of my eyeball, and I don't remember. Did we do this live, or did I say this live? I was moaning and moaning about my eye last week to you too, right? And I thought I'd just getting older, been using Zoom way too much, and just my eyes were tired. But it was always out of focus and really tired and watery. So eventually, I went to an optometrist, and they took a picture of my eyeball, and that is a scratch, a big scratch on my cornea.
The green
Yeah,
dot.
and that's why I've had trouble seeing for the past 10 days.
Oh dear. Hope you
Oh,
get better.
wow.
Be careful with scratching your eyes. Jeez.
No, I know. Yes. So
what
if
do you
you
have
see
to
me
do?
going like this, because I can't see you, I just can't see. I just can't.
No, we'll try to
dear.
avoid the scratch. Ange, can you see me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
the
on your
scratch
left
is
side.
somewhere.
Just on your
Well,
left.
I
Look at the
see
green.
double, right? So I see two of you, and seeing
Oh,
double of
that's-
my two good friends is all I could ask for in life.
That
Or Percy,
I
or
pity
she,
you too much.
or she's just indirectly called us fat, Percy. So
Yeah,
okay,
I
Ange, I tell you what, let's see if you can see this. And I know I'm going to be judged for this, but remember, I've got young children. Okay, and
What is
look
that?
what's up. What's up?
Oh,
it's beginning to look a lot like
Like
Christmas.
Christmas. I know it's November, but they just finished primary school, the twins.
oh
So
wow.
yesterday we decided to put this up, and you know that I've got a puppy who's now almost a year old, a Labrador Retriever, a chocolate lab, and you can see that the ornaments are placed slightly higher up
Halfway.
because Elfie likes to take them. So yeah, that's my life. So far.
Wow.
Adjustments
and-
for our dog.
Oh wow.
And are you playing Christmas tunes in the house already?
No,
even though it's
not yet,
November?
not yet. That's in December.
I-
We
Are
have
you feeling the
standards.
Christmas spirit?
Not yet. The kids certainly are. The twins, especially, they're like wrapping presents for each other and everyone else, and trying to find things, and they're really into the spirit now. Because I think it was last day of school yesterday, but me, no, not yet. Not yet. How are you,
Oh,
Pers?
I'm
Plus it's
good. I'm
frozen.
actually.
Oh, you're back.
Am I back? No, sorry. I'm actually at the hotel. We're doing a film shoot, so I had to rush back here. So I'm not sure if the internet will hold.
Hey, so
dear.
far 4 seasons it has, and I'm sure it will continue.
And I just want to say a shout out to all the people who've joined us. Wajaka Evans from Chile, Kawhi Donna, who told us you were frozen, but also to Angeline,
Yes.
who hopes my eye will get better soon. Oh, thank you, Angeline.
Oh,
And Jean's
Jien.
back as well. Hi, Jean.
Hey,
hi,
Jien.
Jien.
Well, and
Marie
that's
Vic
time to
Lara
say,
from Hong Kong.
Oh, wonderful.
and our guest is from
Yeah.
Hong Kong. Have I said too much? But more importantly, hello to everyone again. Just a reminder, welcome to Dear Future Grandkids. Now, this is a show that takes a look into our future by telling stories of our past.
And I'm Ange in Hong Kong. That's Jen in Singapore. We have Percy in the Philippines, and we are live on Facebook and YouTube. So stop on by and say hi to us.
Yeah, let's introduce today's guest. But first, I need to take a deep breath because he has so many accomplishments. He's a film producer, a translator, a novelist, and he's also an occasional law professor.
Yeah, and his novel,
What?
indeed, his novel, The Great Hong Kong Detective, has been published in most Chinese-speaking markets to 5-star reviews. There's going to be a Japanese translation out next year, and there's going to be an adapted stage play in Hong Kong. So please welcome a movie maker, a storyteller, and an educator, Trevor Michael Morris.
Hi, everyone. Good morning.
Welcome, Trevor.
Hey!
for
How are you
having me.
today?
Very well, thank you. I've had my morning coffee, so I'm really invigorated.
Perfect. We need the coffee to kickstart the day. But Trevor, welcome to Dear Future Grandkids. So the first question for you is: have you ever thought of yourself as a future granddad? Just ever thought about it?
No, and the thought actually horrifies me. I hope I.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Well,
Oh
here you
goodness!
go.
Well, that's even more horrifying. So any small chance I'll ever have grandchildren has just disappeared with that.
It's just
Ooh,
a look into the perhaps future that what you could look like as a grandfather 20 years from now. So
Well, I'm
I guess-
sure I'll look like that, but hopefully not as a grandfather. Just a single old grumpy man. That's already horrible enough. With a lot of cats, that would be the compensation.
Fair
With
enough.
a
Fair
lot of
enough.
cats.
Now, Trevor, we're gonna kick off the show with some quick fire questions to get to know you a bit better. So the first
Oh
one
dear!
is
Wow, I'm scared already.
oh, don't
Okay.
worry.
Be
it's
very
fun.
afraid. Be very afraid.
See?
Okay, so we had trouble knowing how to introduce you at the beginning, but at a cocktail party, how do you introduce yourself?
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Trevor Morris. You'll not have heard of me, but I have a very famous sister.
Oh, really? That's how you
That's what I
introduce yourself.
usually say. Yes.
Okay, but then now you have to tell us who's the famous sister.
Yeah.
Well, I make them guess, especially if I'm talking to a pretty girl. You see, I make them guess. So that's how you get the conversation rolling. You see?
I like your style. And how long do you stretch
Yeah.
that for then?
Huh?
How long do you stretch that for before you reveal the
Well,
answer?
as long as it takes to get them to give me their telephone number.
Where were you 20 years ago? You should have given me this advice. I don't have a
Yes.
famous sister, but I can make one up.
Make one up.
Brilliant. Okay, so are you going to tell us the famous sister? Or we're going to find out later.
Well, we have the same surname, but she goes by the Cantonese transliteration. So it's Mok, a very famous female performer with the surname of Mok. So if you can't guess, you probably have to Google it. Oh, well, yeah, there she
Oh,
is.
here we are.
Very famous.
We all been dying to say it because we know because it's Karen Mock.
Yes.
It doesn't get any bigger, especially if globally, but in Asia especially because I'm in Singapore and I'm a Malaysian. Everyone knows Karen, and I'm going to share this quick story. In Singapore, I used to work as a TV presenter, and I was hosting the President Star Charity, which is the biggest charity show in the nation. Millions of viewers were tuning live, and she was our guest of honor. She performed a couple of songs. I had a chance to interview her on stage, and she's lovely, Trevor. She's lovely. Definitely,
Of course she is.
it's in the family for sure.
Very talented, very smart family.
Yeah.
Absolutely right there, because you can see my mum in the middle. So the being beautiful, at least on the female side, is certainly something that runs in the family.
Oh,
Now, Trevor, we're gonna turn our attentions back to you. Now, where were you born?
In Hong Kong.
Okay, and what was your first funny memory?
First funny memory.
First funny memory.
Well, most of my memories are kind of funny, not necessarily in the laugh out loud kind of way. My first memory, I have to be honest, I don't know if it's a real memory or the kind of thing that, listening to stories your parents tell you, you sort of, conjure up in your brain. But when I was a toddler, there was this dog that I had that literally followed me home. My grandmother took me out, in the pram, and this dog just followed us home. And I don't really have much memory of it, but the earliest memory I can visualize in my head is of a big furry face, and there's a sort of accompanied by a very pungent doggy smell. That literally is my earliest memory.
Okay, so I
don't know if it's something that I made up in my brain, because at that age you are not supposed to have any memories, but this is how I see it in my head. So that's my. So my first memory is a funny memory of a big furry face.
So did you take a liking to dogs? Have you ever had dogs as pets or no?
Well, not since that dog, because we moved to town. We used to live in the New Territories, which back in the 60s, that's how old I am. Back in the 60s was very remote in terms of transportation and so on. But then when I got to, I think, about 5, my parents moved out into the city, Kowloon, so that I could go to kindergarten. So once that happened, no space really for living space for a dog. But I like cats as well. I like all animals, and cats are easier to take care of. So in our family, we've had literally dozens of cats, and we're down to just one now, and he doesn't live with me. He lives with his new owner, but I've been taking care of him because the owner's gone back to the UK.
Okay.
So I'm an animal person, definitely.
Nice.
Wow. I think animals are attracted to you, and they will follow you since that's your memory of when you were a baby.
Yeah.
Do you
I
have
wonder
birds
why. Maybe
flocking to
I
you
sort
and
of
stuff?
smell like an animal. I take a shower, but
Okay, Trevor, I've got a few questions, and this is my first one. When was the last time you tried something new and did not make a career out of it? But when was the last time you tried something new, and what was it?
something new. Hard to say. I'm always trying to do something new, but not really always succeeding. I tried
You've got enough on your bio
designing
already.
jewelry a few years ago, but that didn't really work out. So I'll have to sort of rework how I approach this and try it again sometime.
How and
Wow.
why and what did you? Why did you
Well,
do that?
at the time, I was trying to do something with 3D printing. Launch a business, get some how to describe it? Production on demand, which is one of the new twists that 3D printing production brings along. So I was trying to do that, and also arranged a sort of exhibition of 3D printed artworks and so on. So that led to making a lot of contacts in the field and so on. So anyway, cut a long story short, I sort of had this idea to make sound wave jewelry. Originally, the idea was to turn a sound wave into a physical piece of jewelry, which if you scan it with an app, you can sort of turn the sound wave back into the original audio. So that was the original idea. But at the time, this was maybe 6 years ago, the technology wasn't really at the point where you could do that easily. I mean, you could do it with a proper sound wave, but if it's stylized in a sort of jewelry form, we just couldn't get it to work. So we cheated and sort of did it by means of a QR code, which sort of comes with the box and so on. So anyway, that sort of seemed to work quite well, and we sort of priced it, in a sort of broad middle market kind of way. But unfortunately, one of the franchisees in mainland China took a photo of Karen, sort of blew it up as a standee, and sort of made it look as if she was sort of promoting it, which was very awkward for Karen, because she has a lot of ad and
commitments,
spokesmanship contracts and so on. So it cannot be seen in public that she looks as if she's promoting some product in contravention of some existing contract. So my jewelry designing career came to an abrupt end because I had to terminate all relationships with that thing. So that was really sad.
Oh dear.
But anyway, I'll sort of think of some other way to work on it. I still have some ideas. So yeah. So anyway, I have other stuff to keep me busy. So
you certainly do.
You do.
Yeah, you certainly do. You see, when you ask the three of us, when was the last time you tried something new? It would be like, I bought a floral shirt today. you know, or
Yeah.
Ange
Badminton.
tried badminton, but you would go into a totally new career.
Career, yeah. I put Christmas ornaments higher this year.
Yeah, that's it. See, that's
That's
what
something
we
new.
do. But you start careers. Anyway, let's go to your many careers. If you could start your careers with an S all over again, what would you have done? Which one would you have done? Would you still study law, go into movies earlier?
Mm.
Well, that's a good point. I don't think I'll have avoided any particular career, but if there's one thing I would have done differently, it would have been to not spend quite as long on some of these things as I did. Because back when you're still in your 30s, you still think you have all the time in the world. And all of a sudden now I'm pushing 60 and I'm like, good Lord, I don't have that many years left to try out new things. So I'm less haphazard with my time, I suppose. I'm trying to concentrate on the stuff that is higher up on my list of priorities.
Can I just
So
ask
so
you,
yeah,
sir?
so grandkids is probably not that high on the list.
You got many things on your list. No, but how do you turn a hobby or something that's interesting to you and suddenly go into it so seriously that you make a career out of it? I mean, I mean me especially. I've always wanted to say, I'll write something, but somehow it just fizzles out. You seem to be the type of person who will just stick to it until it's perfect,
Done.
until you've succeeded. What's your secret to that?
Not really. It's sort of what I said just now. You haven't got to the point that I got to a few years ago, which was when I realized, hey, I'm running out of time. I better, get this book done, or it's never going to happen. So yeah, so it's not inspiration or anything. It's desperation.
We know that, and we know the running out of time.
Yeah.
Actually,
So enjoy
but
your lack of desperation.
I think it's us. It's another shun. It's desperation and procrastination. I think is what's happening with us.
Yes.
I'm quite a pro at procrastination, actually. But, yeah, age just gives you a big kick up the behind. So yeah.
I think other people when they reach a certain age wouldn't do what you do. I think other people would just take a different
Up and
attitude.
die. Well, I'll probably reach that point soon. So yeah, I'm just trying to make a good go at it right now.
Very cool. Very cool.
So, Trevor, name something cool that has happened to you at any point in your life, just something random that's been rather unexpected for you. And I know many things. I know you've been through, you've made movies, you've done lots and lots of interesting things, but is there one that sticks out in your mind?
Sticks out in the mind. Really cool thing. I got to meet Keanu Reeves not once but twice, so that's pretty cool.
Ooh, that's pretty cool. How was
Because
it?
Karen, so Karen starred in Keanu's directing debut, didn't she?
Right.
She was the
Well,
lead.
it was sort of through her both times. First time was they wrapped that movie, Man of Tai Chi, and which was filmed partially in Hong Kong, and they had this wrap party at the I don't know if you know the Aero Club, Aeroplane Club in To Gua Wan.
No, I never get invited to any parties, and there's no way I'd get invited.
I wasn't invited
to
either. I
Keanu
just
Reeves'
crashed the
party.
party.
Yeah, I
just
love
crashed
your
the party.
style.
I knew the party was happening, but Karen wasn't in Hong Kong. She was off somewhere, on a concert tour or something. But I just had to meet Keanu Reeves. He's my one and only man crush, really. So I crashed the party. I knew some of the people who were working on the film and so on, so it wasn't hard to do. And wow, he was just everything you've heard about him, all the good. Well, there aren't any bad things people say about him, but every good thing you've heard about him is true times 10. He's really like that.
Oh,
Really?
He's the chosen one. Yeah. Well, he on stage and so on, getting on and talking to Mike. Of course, he is good fun and has a great time with everyone else. But when he's sort of left alone, I sort of spotted him sitting to one side and having a cigarette. Actually, a bit like that meme about sad Keanu. He wasn't sad. It was just some alone time.
Right.
And I didn't want to bother him, but I thought, okay, if I don't go up and talk to him, I may never get the chance again. So I just sort of went up to him and said, "Oh, Mr. Reeves, I don't want to intrude, but I just had to come and say hi. I'm Karen Mock's brother, huge fan, yada yada." And I was about to leave, and he just stood up, put out a cigarette, and went to one side with me, and talked to me for like 10, 15 minutes, and he didn't have to do that. So that was really cool.
Wow.
And anyway, I can't remember how much later it was, but couldn't have been that long afterwards. Karen was back in Hong Kong. Keanu Reeves was passing through or something. And so they had a dinner. And of course, I sort of crashed that as well. So I sort of insisted that Karen...
Hi again.
Hi again.
So that definitely were two highlights of my life. Yeah, meeting Keanu Reeves.
Amazing, because you know what they always say, right, Trevor? It's like don't ever meet your hero or someone you look up to, because you more than likely you'll be disappointed. But yours is like your experience is amplified 10 times. What a wonderful story.
Yeah, I'm starstruck.
Well, having
now.
said that, there are other people I'm pretty sure I wouldn't want to meet in real life if I saw them. I'd sort of turn and run. So Keanu Reeves is definitely, by far the best possible person you can meet in real life.
Wow.
You know what? You got to let us know if he's nearby. We'll just crash that.
Yes.
We'll do it Trevor style and crash
If
it. And go.
if you're crashing a Keanu Reeves party, please let us crash with you.
I'm doing Trevor style now, just coming and go.
Yes, and we'll be the ones saying, "Hey, he's Karen's
I'm
brother."
I'm just gonna lie. Karen's
He
my
met you
sister.
twice.
They're like, what? Yeah, Karen's my sister.
I'm related to them somehow.
Trevor's my brother, which means Karen's my sister.
Yes, Jen. That's how we crash parties. No wonder the bouncers are always watching out for us.
Oh, I love that story, Trevor. Love that.
Love it.
So,
Ange, no. Okay.
so Trevor, I wonder if you can now stay where you are. Keep your computer where you are, but go and fetch 2 items from your career or your travels that have some kind of special meaning for you.
I don't have to actually leave the computer screen because I'm a well-prepared person. So here's something I prepared earlier. This is
your book?
original. This is the original, now out of print version of my book. Only 2,000 copies were printed in Hong Kong several years ago. So out of print, collector's item. If you have one, hang on to it because it's going to be worth something after I'm dead. First one. This is the simplified Chinese characters version that was released in mainland China. When was it? 2020. So yeah, early last year. And unfortunately,
I like the cover with the picture with the
this one.
Chinese
Well,
Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
Well,
Why did
it's
they not
actually,
have a picture for the second
it's
version?
actually my concept for the cover, but I'm not too pleased with the way they did the silhouette. And I probably should have just done it myself. I found the old photograph for the background as well, which is from the 1880s, so period accurate for the book. A picture of the central waterfront. So anyway, and the Taiwanese version has just come out just over a month ago, and when I checked, it was like number 2 on the fiction bestsellers list for Readmoo, which is the leading ebook version for Chinese books.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm very pleased. So at least for 1 month, I was like near the top.
Number 1. But I love the premise because it's imagine if Sherlock Holmes was Chinese in the 1800s, right? And you wrote it in this old-fashioned language.
Well, yes, exactly. Which incidentally is the main reason why I need to do the English translation myself, because it's hard to find a translator who can read and sort of appreciate the Qing dynasty style Chinese, and then be able to render it into the equivalent Victorian English, which has to be comparable with Conan Doyle's original language. So I'll start cracking on the translation maybe sometime next year. The thing is, I'm right now I still have to deliver the manuscript for book 2, which the Taiwanese publishers want to get out ASAP. So once I have book 2 out, with both books, 6 stories in book 1, 6 stories in book 2, I'll have 12. So that kind of number is sort of more amenable for the English language market. So I'll start cracking on the English translation and, I don't know, get it out as soon as I can.
I think you should, because I'm just looking at the comments, and Angeline's watching it live, and she was asking, will there be an English version and an ebook version of this book? And she goes, you just answered my question. So, so there are people out there, the fans out there going, oh, I'll be interested to read this in English. So I guess you got to wait for book 2, and then you translate both.
Yeah, well, book 2 will be out first half of next year. Hopefully within next year, I'll have finished the English translation. But how long it's going to take for me to get published in English, I don't know, because I'm sort of new to this whole publishing thing. So, and for English, I have to start from scratch again. So, if there are any publishers out there, or if you know any publishers out there in the English-speaking world, please contact. I'm sure you can find me. It's a test of your detective skills.
There you go.
You can contact Jien, because Jien is Karen and Trevor's brother. So
It's related to them.
I know people. I know people here.
Our contact Keanu Reeves might be easier to find than look for Trevor.
Yeah. Trevor, I just want to check. Have you got your phone near you?
Yes, I do. I switch it off in case my my mum rings and
Right. Because
back on.
Now we want you to turn it back on, because this is the part of the show where we get you, our guests, to leave a voice message, a heartfelt voice message live to someone important in your life. It could be anybody, someone that you've been thinking of recently, or someone important that you haven't been in touch with, or you want to pick a name, in your phone book. Just leave a heartfelt message for someone live on our show, and then perhaps don't tell us who he or she is, and then maybe before the end of the show, if they reply, let us know. So can give you a little bit of time for you to think about it, but just go into your WhatsApp.
Okay, I'll have to think about this, because my the usual sort of heartfelt messages I want to leave people would be along the lines of telling them off and stuff like that. So
that's fine as well.
That's fine.
It's not the kind of thing you want to.
I think
owe you
we
money?
definitely want to. That's exactly the kind of thing.
No. I'm much too prudent to do that on live. Video.
We would love that.
We would love that.
Your number. I'll leave you a message and tell you off for asking me to do that.
Yeah, I tell you what, we'll just pretend, because we're live now. So you can just
Yeah, you have my number, Trevor. So
I got a message from Trevor.
Yes, Jen, we're not brothers. Okay.
Let me have that lie.
So
Alright.
go ahead, Trevor. We are waiting.
Okay. I don't
Love the-
tell you who it is, right?
No,
You
don't
just have
have
to
to.
figure it
You
out.
don't have to.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
this
don't have to tell
isn't
us.
going to be too hard. Hi, Azul. This is Daddy. I'll be home soon, so be a good boy and don't poo too much, because it really stinks up the house. Okay, see you soon. Bye.
That is such a cop out, because your cat does not have WhatsApp.
You never know. You never know.
He's a very smart cat.
Well, Ange, don't you realize these days cats and dogs have Instagram accounts? So
Yeah, you never know.
And, there are these contraptions where, if it's a dog, this remote control toy or whatever, the dog bites on it and it automatically links their end of the computer with the owner's phone.
I heard about
So,
that.
Yeah, there's stuff like that.
Do people really use that? I mean,
This is
What is that too?
this is just a poor explanation, Trevor, for your cowardice. I'm sorry.
What I was going to do, I was telling the cat off for not pooing too much. But I was warning him not to poo too much because it does stink up the house.
I'm
Trevor, just
sure
follow
our
instructions.
viewers were really needed to know that. The definition of too much information, I think. Well, if your cat leaves a reply before the end of the show, we would love to hear it.
Mm.
Scratch.
It will be
scratch
waiting for me when I go back to the flat and okay, what's the smell? That would be the reply.
Oh, you left a message. I didn't get it. Sorry.
You left a couple of messages.
Oh, that's too funny. So, Trevor, this is the part of the show now where we talk about your family, and we know that you and your sister are very, very close, and you've been close for a long time. And we know that, well, close for a long time. You've been close as long as you. Is it? She's younger than you, right? She's your big
5 years
brother, right?
apart.
Oh, you're 5 years apart. And have you always had this big brother sister, looking over little sister dynamic, or has it changed over the years?
Well, we've mostly been, more like friends rather than, big brother, little sister. I mean, obviously, when she was really little, I sort of, I didn't really read her stories. I would just sort of make up crazy stories and sort of play them out with her dolls and stuff, and get her way too hyper to go to bed at night. So my mum and dad would scold me for doing that. So yeah, but we've always been very close.
Oh, and I know Karen, I know you were with her. I mean, Karen Mock, we all know, is a real superstar singer and actress. She's been in, I think, over 40 movies, and she's had about 20 albums, something insane and insane. And she works so hard. But I also know that you two, she holds a Guinness World Record, doesn't she, for the highest altitude music concert, and you were there. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah,
there you are.
There we are.
There you are at the concert.
This was in Lhasa in late 2019. So the Guinness record is for the highest altitude, large scale stadium concert, outdoor concert. So I don't know what the threshold required was, but this was like, can't remember the exact number, but well over 10,000 people. So we got the record there and then, because Guinness actually sent fact check people to the actual concert, and there and then at the final minutes of the concert, it was announced, and Karen was like, yeah. So yeah, Guinness record.
That's amazing. Of all the things, on top of every accolade that Karen's had, she's also a Guinness World Record holder. That's super cool. And I know Karen's also worked with a real mix of people, hasn't she? So she's worked with Jackie Chan, of course, Keanu, John Legend, Black Eyed Peas. That is a really broad strata of music, film, media. It's just such a weird mix. And I know that both of you tend to, is it your Eurasian background? Is it this East-West mix that you have? You really do a lot of things in different languages and different cultures, and you have so many different projects that go on in different genres.
Well, I don't know if it's to do with the Eurasian thing. I mean, it's just a general Hong Kong thing. Hong Kong has always been at the since it was colonized, in the 19th century, 1840s. It's always been, at the crossroads of East and West, and there's always been this sort of mix of culture. And so I think it's more to do with this kind of thing being a part of Hong Kong's cultural identity than, whether one is Eurasian or not. But in Karen's case, I think it definitely helps that she's a very good linguist. I'm not. I'm good in English, I'm good in Chinese, because I've always spoken these languages, but I'm like, at best average at acquiring new languages. But Karen, she can just, dip her toe in a foreign language, and presto, she can speak it like a native. So yeah, it's sort of like a superpower, really. So anyway, and we've always been, I suppose, good at different things. She's sort of, linguistically gifted, musically gifted. I'm tone deaf. Well, not quite so bad, but you don't want to hear me sing, definitely. And I'm more, bookworm kind of person. So yeah, so there's never really been any sort of sibling rivalry. So yeah, so I suppose that's how it's always been for us.
Trevor, so you're both achievers, definitely, as siblings. I mean, in the future, there will be grandchildren in your family, whether yours or relatives. What's the most important thing that you tell your future grandkids about your family?
About the family. Well,
Yeah.
well, Karen and I don't have children, but as you say, we have cousins who
Yeah.
have kids and so on. And my Karen and Karen has her 3 stepchildren as well from her marriage. So what I like to tell them about our family, I'm not really a very sort of very proud of one's family lineage kind of person. That there have been pretty cool people in my family, of whom I'm very proud. And Karen and I, we sort of try to have fun in life. Really, do what you enjoy doing, and try to do it in a meaningful way. And that's it, really. Nothing much else to talk about.
Is there a Morris family? It doesn't have to be a formal motto, but is there something that encapsulates the Morris family that tends to get handed down? Like I know definitely in my family, there's sayings and phrases that my dad used to say all the time that apparently his dad used to say. And although we didn't formalize it, it just happens. And then I, before you know it, end up saying it to my nieces and my nephew, and it just comes out of my mouth, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm repeating the Chung family sayings about life. Is there anything in the Morris family that might be similar?
Well, I guess there is. If there's one really persistent and I suppose consistent tradition in our family is we well, at least ever since my grandfather, my Welsh grandfather, we've always been involved in charitable work. So there's this saying that my dad, who passed away, some time ago now, he was very fond of repeating when he was alive, and it comes from the I Ching, Yiking, and in Chinese it's 积善之家必有餘慶, which means a family that accumulates good deeds will have good fortune to spare, more than enough reason to celebrate. So I don't suppose that should be the reason for you to do good stuff, good deeds, helpful things, charity, whatever you want to call it, should be its own reward. But if you believe in karma, what goes around comes around.
Yeah.
So I suppose that's the central idea. And both Karen and I, we feel we've been very lucky to have been born in Hong Kong, to have enjoyed all sorts of opportunities that maybe elsewhere or in a different time it would have been difficult, if not impossible, to enjoy. So having gained the benefit of this sort of upbringing, this sort of background, one just tries to pay it forward. So that's what everyone should do, I feel.
I know, Trevor. I know your modesty
just
would prevent you from saying this, but I know that your family do so much for charity, especially for animal welfare, for example. And I know that you've done a lot, and I know you're very modest.
That's one of the things we try to focus on animal welfare, children's welfare, especially, for example, in Guangxi province, one of the more remote areas. It's sort of improved economically tremendously in the last 10, 20 years, but we sort of helped set up a sort of orphanage stroke school for girls. And, sometimes they come to Hong Kong to visit, and, the first lot of girls have grown up and they've gone on to, become medical practitioners or teachers or whatever. And this is from an area that traditionally girls get neglected and probably, don't really get the opportunity to be educated at all. So seeing the little kids now all grown up and that's a very gratifying thing. So we do a lot of children's stuff as well, and we're sort of looking to see how we can help with environmental protection, but that's not such a big deal in Hong Kong yet. So we're still trying to figure out how to sort of make it more of a big deal. So actually, we set up our own charity a few years ago called the Morris Charity Initiative, MCI. If you Google it, you should be able to find the website. So all donations welcome. But the thing is, because Karen and I, we don't have kids. So between Mom, Karen, and me, basically when we shuffle off this mortal coil, all the money is going into this charity. So yeah. So hopefully I'm not going to be the last one left, because I have to sort out all the paperwork.
That's one morbid way to think about it.
Train your cat.
Smart. He is smart, but he doesn't have opposable thumbs, so it's very hard.
Typing is tough.
Trevor, I mean, we look at your career, and you produce films, you've written books, and then you're talking about your charitable contribution. It's so hard to pick out. Is there any of those achievements that you are proudest of so far?
Not much yet so far, to be honest.
Really?
All my well, seriously,
Really?
my greatest disappointment has been in academia. Really, I always sort of fancied myself. Oh, one day I'd be a professor. Write really cool academic books and so on. But I made the very, very serious mistake of after I got my PhD, I made the very serious mistake of going to I don't want to be rude, but a pretty crap university to teach, and there was no going back from there. Every extra year I spent there made it more difficult to move on to a better place. And in the end, it just I just realized I'm just wasting time, not just at this place, but in this career that I sort of just stupidly went down the wrong lane. So I just left the UK and came back to Hong Kong and started doing something else. Well, another reason was I sort of realized that, okay, I'm already in my late 30s. If I want to do something else, if I don't do it now, it's never going to happen. So I made the move just in time. So if I have one regret, it's not that I sort of, did this or that wrong, but my regret would be, once I realized my mistakes, I often spent too much time just hoping it would turn better. So if I could advise my younger self, be decisive, cut your losses, move on. That's always good advice, I think.
Good advice.
But
that also applied to a certain film studio I worked at, but luckily I just managed to move on before too long, only 3 years, so not too bad.
I mean, I know Trevor. So Trevor and I, the reason we know each other is potentially because of this movie studio that we have. But we
met a lot of great people. You're one example, so it wasn't totally bad.
we ended up we were in a up a mountain on this film shoot for for a couple of weeks. It was freezing cold in Sichuan, up at the top of Sichuan.
Oh, it wasn't that bad. I was in shirt sleeves.
Do you know, I don't know if you remember this, Trevor, but the reason you had shirt sleeves is because I underdressed. I didn't bring enough. I had no idea it was going to be so cold because I had Googled the temperature, but not realizing we were so high up a mountain. And you, all the way through, lent me your big, huge black coat that you had brought with you because I was so freezing cold. And I know all the way through you were pretending that, because I kept saying,
Seriously,
do you want your coat back? Because I remember from day one, you had said, I don't think your coat is thick enough because we landed in Chengdu and Chengdu is low and it was warm. And we landed in Chengdu before we took the 7-hour drive all the way up into the cold. And you all the way through had said, I don't think your coat is warm enough. And then when we got to the top, I was shivering, physically shivering, and I started to try and put my suitcase around my body. That's how cold I was putting everything I owned around, tucked under my. And you said to me, "Oh, I'm not cold at all. Here, take my big jacket." And I ended up using it for the rest of the shoot. And you, every time I said, "You want your jacket back?" you were so chivalrous. You were such the gentleman, because you kept saying, "I'm not cold at all. I'm not cold at all. You can have it."
Really, I don't remember that. Maybe the cold just sort of blanked it from my memory.
And we were very lucky, weren't we? Because only just a few weeks afterwards, the big earthquake struck in Sichuan, and
that's right. Yeah,
and our crew, some of our crew got stuck up during the earthquake. So.
Just now you said I was being chivalrous. I probably wasn't. I was just shivering. But the earthquake was a really narrow escape. It was literally, I think, the third day we were back in Hong Kong that I got, these phone calls and, did you hear? Yeah, there's been a huge earthquake in Sichuan, and the epicenter was literally at the bottom of the mountain that we were up on.
Yeah.
Our film crew, we still had a skeleton crew there. We had wrapped principal shooting, but we still had people there. They were trapped for like the whole week, for 3 days and nights. We didn't even know if they were alive because all the cell towers were down, no more phone lines, and they had to walk from where they were shooting, pretty high up in the mountain. They had to walk, I think, for one whole day and night down to base camp. From 4,000 or 5,000 meters sea level down to 1,000 odd. And and at the time I remember thinking, being out of a sense of camaraderie, I suppose. I was thinking, I should have been there with them. And then 6 months later, we went back to, do some footage and so on, just to record the aftermath. And it looked so horrible, really. It looked like a nuke had gone off. Previously, it was, the mountains of Sichuan. The scenes were like out of Chinese paintings, greenery and sheer cliffs and so on. And when we went back, it was all grey, no more greenery and rocks and stuff everywhere. And I realized, wow, I'm so glad I wasn't there with them at the time. So lucky to have escaped.
Yeah, my mum thought I was still in Sichuan, so I remember it was the middle of the night. My mum called me up and was just concerned and was making sure that I was in Hong Kong. Yeah, it was a lucky escape, you could say.
Wow. That's a very colorful. It's a very colorful career with a lot of very colorful anecdotes. But my last question to you, Trevor, it's a simple one. So, if you've got future grandkids, what movies or books or TV shows would you tell them to watch or read?
Well, mine, of course. By then,
that's very good.
By that time, I hope to have done much more stuff.
It's everything.
So
right?
Books I've started to write, but films, for example, I've never actually done my own film. It has always been somebody else's thing, and so actually now I'm about to. Well, I'm still sort of negotiating the contract, but if things go well, or at least if things don't go awry, will be going into production at the beginning of 2022. So hopefully the film will come out sometime next year. So it's only a relatively small production because of COVID. It's necessary to just make it a Hong Kong production. So everything has to be scaled down. But hopefully it's going to be pretty cool. Script by me, and it's my only disappointment with circumstances, not with anything in particular, but with circumstances, is people are going to say, you're copying Squid Game, because Squid Game, the Netflix thing, play it or die kind of scenario. It's been a kind of genre in film and fiction for like at least 20 years. But I've actually had this in development for several years. So now that Squid Game has really become so popular, it's a sort of double-edged thing, because on the one hand, I'm probably going to get more resources devoted to it, but then the bad thing is people are going to say, just ripping off Squid Game. But actually, it's not like that. Mine is more cerebral, and there's a lot more. So I try to put in a lot of game theory into it, so it should be a pretty fun story to watch.
It sounds.
Look out for it next year.
Yeah, no, it sounds
Looking
amazing.
forward to it.
I really can't wait to watch it. Trevor, I tell you what, it's been amazing. Thank you so much for spending time with us. You've got such an interesting life and so many interesting careers as well. We wish you all the best. But just one last thing to do before we say goodbye. Of course, this show is called Dear Future Grandkids. We know you don't have grandkids, and you won't have grandkids in the future. But let's say your cousin's grandkids, and you get to leave a message for them. What would you say to them, the future grandkids?
I would say, dear future grandkids, you don't exist yet, or perhaps you never will, but doesn't matter. If you do exist, read my books, watch my stuff. And also, you're a great source of inspiration to me, because literally just this second, being asked this question, I've been given, I've been inspired to write a new story. The usual, time travel story would involve some variation of the grandfather paradox, right? You have it in Back to the Future, whatever. You go back in time. What if you killed your grandfather in the past before he reproduced? So before your mom or your dad existed, then there's no you. And if there's no you, who goes back in time to kill him? So it's a paradox. So I've just realized I can write a reverse of this. Someone who does not have grandkids somehow has grandkids come back from the future and either kill him or whatever. But how it works, I'm not telling you, because that's the clever bit.
We're waiting for it.
We can't wait.
Trevor, sold, hook, line, and sinker.
Sold.
Do not procrastinate. Like you said, get on it now.
To my cat's place now, and once I clear up the poo, I'll start cracking on the story.
Brilliant.
Well, Trevor, thank you very much again for being on the show.
Sure.
And thank you so much all for watching as well. You guys have been fantastic. Trevor, it's been amazing having you on. Just want to say thank you to all our viewers who's been watching. Angeline's been leaving lots of inspirational notes. She's saying that, Trevor, you're an inspiration. I'm happy to hear that you're doing well, and hope you pursue your idea of that film. And Kawaii Donna as well. We've got loads more coming in. Joe Tebbs has left messages. And thank you so much, Dennis Lupas. Jien, of course, is back. And Marie Vic Lara. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Wajaka Evans from Chile and South America. Oh.
And I tell you what, Trevor, I've been inspired just talking to you for the past hour and what you have done so far in your career. And also what I'm inspired by is your future plans. I just, like I said, the only thing new I've done is just, put up Christmas ornaments higher. I'm inspired. I'm going to get off my backside, like you say. and do something meaningful. That's what I'm going to do today. Today, I'm going to tell everyone I'm Trevor Morris's brother, and I'm going to meet I'm going to meet Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves,
I'm going to
there
meet you,
go.
Keanu. Keanu, I'm coming for you, Keanu.
Jen, I'm not sure that was the message that Trevor was trying to leave and that inspire you with.
That
I
was
think
what
of all the
inspired
messages
Jen.
that Trevor was trying to give you, it wasn't
Pretend to
pretend
be
to
my
be
brother.
someone's pretend to be someone's brother.
Just I'm inspired. Just let me have that. Just let me have that.
Trevor talked about desperation, so yeah, Jen is just desperate to be Keanu Reeves.
Yep. I'm telling you what, this is definitely desperation. And that's it. We're out of time. Thank you so much. I'm Jen. That's Ange. Of course, that's Percy. And that is our wonderful guest today, Trevor Morris. Trevor, thank you so much. And thank you all for watching. You really inspire us. And thank you for supporting us after 4 seasons. And we'll see you next week. Take care. Have a fantastic weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thanks, Trevor.
Thank you.